All right, today we're going to dive into a really powerful idea called dynamic intelligence. Think of it as a framework for thinking, a whole new way to come at problems that, honestly, might just be the mental upgrade we all need to get through this crazy, complex world we live in. So let's get into it. You know that feeling, right? It could be at your job, on a team, or even just in your own life, where you see the exact same frustrating problems popping up over and over again. It really feels like you're on a treadmill. You're putting in all this energy, but you're just not going anywhere. Yeah, you're definitely not alone in feeling that. So the author of the book we're pulling from saw this happen in the most frustrating way. Picture this. A whole community works hard, they grow this amazing, beautiful harvest, and then a huge part of it just gets tossed in the trash. Why? It's wild. It was simply a lack of initiative, a failure to coordinate. It's a small story, but man, it's such a heartbreaking example of a much, much bigger problem. And that is what we're talking about right here, the real cost of stagnation. It's all that wasted potential, it's the systems that are just stuck on repeat, and all those brilliant ideas that just never ever see the light of day. And look, this pattern isn't just happening in community gardens. It's in boardrooms where you have leaders who just don't lead, and they leave this vacuum that gets filled with conflict. It's in companies where incredibly valuable resources are just squandered. It's in projects where these tiny little issues, because nobody addresses them, just spiral out of control into huge, complicated messes. The key thing to get here is that this isn't just bad luck. It's a symptom of something much deeper going wrong. So, if the problem is basically a faulty system, then what's the solution? Well, the idea here is that we need a completely new mental operating system, a fundamental, root-level software upgrade for how we think and how we act. And that new OS has a name, dynamic intelligence. Now pay close attention to the definition here. This is not some fuzzy, magical talent you're born with. It's an observable and, this is key, replicable set of skills. And they're designed to do three things: help you navigate chaos, see problems coming before they hit, and actually provoke positive change, not just sit back and react to stuff. This right here is such a brilliant way to put it. Dynamic intelligence isn't something you either have or you don't, you know? It's not a fixed trait like your eye color. It's software. It's an upgrade that you can consciously choose to download and install right into your own mind. So what does this new software actually do? Well, it runs on 4 core pillars. 4 essential functions that all have to work together to drive real action. Let's break them down. First up, you've got proactivity. This is the engine. This is the complete opposite of just sitting around, waiting for permission, or waiting for a problem to blow up into a full-blown crisis. It's all about taking that first step, initiating action, and actively searching for ways to create value. Next, we have adaptability. So if proactivity is the engine, adaptability is the steering wheel. It's that absolutely crucial ability to pivot when you get new information, to not be so stuck on your plan that you just ignore reality when it comes knocking. Pillar number 3 is versatility. Now, think of this like your processor's ability to run a bunch of different programs at the same time. It's about connecting the dots between totally different fields of knowledge. You know, seeing how an idea from biology could maybe solve a business problem, or how a lesson from history applies to a brand new tech startup. It's about seeing the whole picture. And finally, we've got audacity. Now, this isn't about being reckless. It's that calculated courage you need to challenge that dreaded phrase, "but we've always done it this way." It's the willpower to push through resistance and actually act on a vision that other people might think is just too bold. So the main takeaway here is that these 4 pillars, proactivity, adaptability, versatility, and audacity, they're not just a laundry list of nice traits. Dynamic intelligence is the combination of all 4 of them, working together. That's what lets you not just solve problems, but to totally change the game. Okay, so these 4 pillars sound great in theory, but what do they actually look like in the real world? Let's check out this fantastic case study that takes us right onto a factory floor. So get this, for decades, this factory had what they thought was an impossible problem. They had to make this clutch part perfectly flat, but they just couldn't do it. Everyone was stuck in that loop we talked about, trying the same old fixes, more pressure, less pressure, and it failed every single time. Then a new toolmaker shows up. He's proactive. He jumps right in and takes on the challenge. But instead of just doing what everyone else did, he uses versatility, thinking like a physicist and a materials scientist. He figures out the system is literally fighting itself. The pressure is warping the mold. And here comes the audacity. His big idea is completely counterintuitive. He realizes that to make the part flat, the mold itself needed to be shaped like a cone. It was a huge risk, but his adaptability and how he thought about the problem led to this incredible breakthrough. Rework just vanished, and the impossible problem was solved.
Now you got to be asking yourself, if dynamic intelligence is so powerful, why don't we see it everywhere? Well, it's because there's a virus that can corrupt the entire operating system. And that virus, it isn't technical, it's deeply human. It's egoism.
This slide just frames the difference perfectly. On one side, you have the catalyst. That's the person using dynamic intelligence. What's their core intention? To elevate the system, the whole team, the project. But on the other side, you have the tyrant, and their intention to elevate themselves. For the tyrant, the success of the system is just a vehicle for their own glory.
And this is where it gets really dangerous. The tyrant uses the exact same skills but twists them for their own gain. Their proactivity isn't about creating value for everybody. It's a zero-sum game about winning at someone else's expense. Their adaptability, it only shows up when it benefits them personally. And their audacity isn't about brave innovation. It becomes this unscrupulous willingness to break rules and betray trust just to get ahead.
So, how do we make sure that we're using these skills as a catalyst? How do we actually start installing this upgrade for ourselves? Let's get practical.
The book suggests starting with something really simple, a weekly self-reflection. Think of it as a system scan for your own mind. And just look at these questions. They map directly onto those 4 pillars. Asking yourself, what new thing did I try? Well, that flexes your proactivity muscle. How did I adapt to the unexpected? That trains your adaptability. What new perspectives did I explore? Builds versatility. And what fear did I face? That develops your audacity. It's such a powerful, simple way to start making this real.
And we'll end on this quote because it really gets to the very heart of dynamic intelligence. We are so often terrified of the risks of trying something new that we completely forget to calculate the massive, hidden cost of doing nothing at all, the cost of stagnation. So the question this whole thing leaves us with is this: what bold, well-calculated action are you willing to take this week?